Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Caring About Wrestling. We've got a very excellent show in store for you guys this evening. As usual, we're going to start with telling you all about the live shows coming up to an area near you. So August 17th in Brantford, Ontario, the Carrot Cup Tag Team Tournament. The Carrot Cup, I love that. August 17th, Victoria Rock Bay Throwdown at Wheelies. We've got the whole weekend, August 30th to September 1st on Quadra Island. It's going to be a weekend of wrestling. And if you guys want to get tickets for all of these live shows, definitely check out 365prowrestling.com. And also, if you're perusing around on the 365 Pro Wrestling YouTube channel, you should definitely check out our sister shows, Combat and Island Main Event Tuesday. And, of course, if you think you might be interested in becoming a wrestler, maybe check out the Pro Wrestling Academy right here in Victoria. It is a good time, and they're always looking for people to come down and see if they can, if they've got what it takes. Also, maybe, do you have what it takes to be a volunteer with 365? Production crew, maybe even. We're always looking for great people with a wide variety of talents. So if you are interested, check out all of our. You can reach out, on any of our social media, and we will be more than happy to chat with you about that. All right, I could barely get through that intro because I'm so excited about my next guest. From Victoria, BC, trained at the Pro Wrestling Academy. Been wrestling for about 8 years, has held various belts, including the PWA Pure Violence Championship, the PWA Internet Championship, 365 Combat Championship, and the Tag Team Championship with Eddie Osborne. Whoa, that was a lot to say. Let me introduce to you all the Infinite Legacy. I feel like we should have your intro music right there.
That does feel like a spot where the intro music fits. Yeah. How's it doing? How are you doing, Karen?
Good.
Good.
Oh,
I'm good.
Excellent. I'm so excited to have you as a guest this evening.
Thank you. I'm excited
everybody
to be
out.
here.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody out in YouTube land is also really, really excited to hear what you have to say. I've got, of course, a list of questions ready, as you would imagine. Questions that your fans want to know, questions I certainly want to know, because you and I haven't really had much of a chance to get to know each other.
That's true.
In my time here. You're sort of an elusive character at the
I can be a bit mysterious, yes. I keep to myself, so.
yeah, so I'm really, really stoked to get a chance to chat with you today. So thank you again so much for coming. So very first time that I went to a 365 pro wrestling show, it was in James Bay, and you wrestled that night.
Okay.
And I was blown away with all of the high-flying and high-energy, amazing wrestling. It was so fun to watch. I just want to know about that kind of high-flying style. Has that always been your style, or is that something you kind of developed over time?
Yeah, so that kind of was a thing I came into wrestling with the idea that I wanted to do. When I was younger, when I was watching wrestling, Rey Mysterio was one of my favorites, and he was always the guy that I looked to and thought like that the things he did were incredible, like almost impossible when you're a young kid watching that kind of stuff, right? So, over my time as a young person, I played a lot of sports, and I gained a wide variety of different kind of skills from different things. And so when I started wrestling, those were the things that actually came easiest for me,
Okay.
as opposed to the other technical things. Those were the things that were harder for me to grasp. But doing all the flips and the jumping around and the running around was kind of something that I came into wrestling with already.
I love that. Yeah, the crowd definitely responds.
Mhm.
Like as soon as they hear your intro music, as soon as you come running through those curtains and start running around the ring and getting up on each of the turnbuckles, like I just love it so much, honestly. So okay, so you trained at the Pro Wrestling Academy. We talked a little bit about that in your intro. What like made you decide like to take the step to actually becoming a wrestler?
It was not something I ever really like seriously thought about when I was younger. It was always just kind of a big pipe dream thing that I never like grabbed onto and like wanted to do when I was younger, because I was doing a lot of other things, mostly sports, but I was also doing a little bit of stage acting and like entertaining as well. So all of that kind of fit together for wrestling, but it never really crossed my mind like that it was a possibility. But I started watching heavily again when I was about 27, and I would just kind of was watching one day. I don't exactly remember who the match was, but it just kind of clicked in my head that I think I can actually do this. And so I started looking up different avenues and on how I could actually become a professional wrestler. I was saving up money to move to Alberta when my parents actually told me that they saw a commercial for Eddie's school up in Campbell River. So that's basically when I drove up to Courtney, I think a couple weekends after that. I met Eddie, watched the show, and then the weekend after that, I started driving up to Campbell River and training every weekend for, I guess, the foreseeable future after that. It was a few years of driving up to Campbell River basically every weekend.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It
So
See, it was kind of just an epiphany moment.
so what I also took away from that is you almost went to Alberta
Yeah, it would
to
have been
train
a
there. That's the way your thought was?
different journey for sure. But yeah, I didn't have the means or the cash to really do that, so it would have taken a while. And Eddie was right up the road, 3 hours up the road.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was there, and
Beautiful drive. I mean,
it is. It is a very nice drive. It gets a little worn down after
I guess, yeah.
a few years of doing it, but I mean, it was all worth it. And to be able to train with Eddie and the guys I trained with, like Judas Icarus, Nolan James, and Haviko were the three main guys that I trained with at the beginning. Also Eli Surge, and I'll throw Brett Matthews' name in there.
Yeah, yeah.
They were kind of our core group, and Eddie's kind of first group on the island that he had the full hand in training. So it was a really exciting time. It was worth driving up 3 hours there, 3 hours back every weekend just to become a professional wrestler.
Well, it clearly paid off.
It
because,
did. Yeah.
I mean, the fans love you. You're a fantastic wrestler.
Thank you.
Like it's I know I'm disappointed if you're not there. Like honestly, like I look forward to your matches.
I appreciate that.
So I want to talk a bit about your folks. Like
Okay. Yeah.
your parents are at like every show,
Yeah.
pretty much, right?
Every show they can make. Yeah.
Every show they
when
can
they're
make.
in town.
And so a few months ago, I saw something that kind of blew my mind, quite frankly. So it was a last man standing match. We were at the Metropolitan Hall.
Yeah.
It's Combat episode 100, you guys, if you're looking back in the YouTube channels. Yeah, exactly. 100. You got it.
Easy to remember.
And your dad, Jim is his name?
Jim Legacy, yes.
Yeah, he went after Brett Matthews, hey?
He did.
Yeah. So I've never seen anything like that in my life. I was blown away. And I would like you to tell us a little bit about what happened and how that whole thing came about.
Sure. Well, first of all, my dad is crazy. Everybody you talk to who knows him will say the same. He is where I get a lot of my craziness from. So if you know him and you know me, it makes a lot of sense. But when I told him I was going to be a wrestler, he was actually very excited. He has been a wrestling fan for longer than I've been a wrestling fan. Like he was a wrestling fan before I was alive. He's kind of the person that introduced me to wrestling when I was a young kid. He would go and rent all the cassette tapes back in the day when it was cassette tapes for me and my brother when we were too young to rent them because they were 18 plus. So he was a big part of why I'm a wrestler, to be honest. He's also, since I started wrestling, been very excited to be a part of the show. So I've been having this feud with Brett for a couple months before this match, and it had been a little heated. Him and my dad have been kind of going at it in the crowd, and Brett, he's a bit mouthy, so he gets into it. My dad will not back down, so he gets in his face. It never really came to anything until we had this last man standing match, and Brett actually shoved my dad pretty good, and my dad He got back up. He didn't like that very much, so he ran up to the ring. He got on the apron. Brett was just about to hit me with a chair, so my dad actually might have saved me in this moment. He grabbed the chair. Brett turned around, tried to swing the chair at my dad. He jumped off the apron. The chair hit the top rope, came back, hit Brett in the face. He stumbled around. By then, my dad had got back up on the apron, and he'd fed Brett a couple shots in the face. At this point, I'm like totally flabbergasted at what's going on. Like, I don't know what to say, what to think. But so he hits my brother also. He didn't know what was going on, so he came up, grabbed my dad. He's like, "Dad, you can't be doing this." My dad hit him off, hit Brett one more time, tried to get in the ring, but Brett had enough wherewithal to kick the ropes, which then hit my dad a little under the belt. He rolled off the ring. It was a big mess. Eventually, he got a hold of my championship belt somehow, threw it to me, and I was able to finish the match by hitting Brett with the belt and hitting my finisher on the belt. So basically, my dad was the reason why I defended the championship against Brett in this last man standing match.
That was, I'm telling you guys, like, go back, watch the episode. It is so worth it.
It's insane.
It was insane. I could not believe what I was seeing, and I was like cheering for your dad.
Yes.
Like Jim, I was cheering for you every second of that match. That was amazing.
So he got his big dream moment after all, after years of waiting.
Yeah.
And since then, we've also had talks about him maybe doing a little bit more.
Ooh.
Since he held his own. We might see him in the ring again sometime.
I would love to see that. I would love to see that. Let's try and make that.
That thought excites me. It would be.
Thinking about it, like, what can we do? So exciting.
It'd be crazy. It's gonna be crazy.
Well, maybe we can talk about that over the commercial break, which we are about to take. So don't you guys go anywhere. We will be right back with more Caring About Wrestling and Infinite Legacy.
On this episode of 365 Combat, and as you can see, folks, the crowd has not forgotten who he is. We got shirts, we got fans, we got everything here welcoming back Nathan Legacy to a fatal four-way competition here on 365 Combat. Quick thank you out to our sponsor, Pick a Flick Video Play.
Yeah, whatever works.
I am the Infinite Legacy!
And we are back. You are watching Caring About Wrestling with Karen the Intern, and my guest this evening is the Infinite Legacy. You guys, I can't believe you're here. This is so fun. Okay, so I want to talk to you. So I want to get serious for a second. Are you ready?
Okay.
To get just a little bit serious. So we were talking a lot about like your dad and how cool that was.
Yep.
But like, wrestlers get injured.
Yes.
And so a year or two ago, my research team told me that you had an injury that was like almost like career ending.
Yeah. So it basically was career ending, at least in my head. Like, I had convinced myself that I wasn't going to wrestle again. It was also something that I think it wasn't like necessarily one thing. Like, I've had back problems since I was 15 years old. All I did when I was younger was play sports, as I mentioned earlier. So there's a lot of wear and tear before I even started wrestling. But so 3 years into my career, I did something stupid. It was a big fall through a table that didn't really cushion my fall at all, and I landed hard on the hardwood floor on my tailbone.
Oh.
And I got an x-ray done, and the bottom vertebrae had like basically twisted at a 45-degree angle. So there was disc damage, nerve damage. It was like a big thing. It took me a long time to even really be able to like walk properly without worrying about hurting myself. So yeah, I was out for 4 years after I had wrestled for 3. So I actually was off for longer than I had wrestled. And it was a long a long recovery, a lot of convincing myself that I was able to start wrestling again before I came back. But eventually, I did come back, and I think it was the best decision I ever made. Was not or to come out of retirement.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So what kind of like rehab did you have to do to kind of get yourself ready for that?
So it was actually a lot of like lying around and sitting around doing absolutely nothing
And just
for a
like giving
long
your body a
time.
chance to heal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because for the first like 3 months, I was trying really hard to push through it and like rehab the way I thought I should have been, but I was really doing more damage than helping myself. So my doctor, he's a chiropractor technically, but I trust him as my doctor. He basically told me I had to just stop doing everything for as long as it took. So
Yeah.
it was about, I don't know, 9 months before I was really able to like start stretching again even. And then from there, it was just like one step at a time, start stretching, start doing just a little bit of mobility stuff. I got to a point where was like feeling good enough to start playing sports again. So I started doing that just to test myself. And it still wasn't like there was still a lot that was hanging on, like a lot of pain, a lot of tightness in certain areas. But it got to a point where I thought I was able to start wrestling again, and it was really even just like a snap decision in the moment. Like it was one day I had convinced myself I wasn't going to go back, and the next day I messaged Eddie and was like, I think I need to come back. And I asked him if I could come to the show the next day. He said absolutely, and that kind of started the process of reintroducing myself into wrestling again.
Well, we're so glad that you did because
Thank you.
here you are.
So am I. Yes.
Yeah. And that is, I mean, that sounds like a really, really serious injury.
Yeah, it was rough.
But,
Yeah, and I previously like I had a few big injuries from wrestling, but nothing that really kept me out. And before wrestling, I never really dealt with that. Like I was sort of invincible when I was a younger kid, and
As we are.
exactly,
As we are.
and that's how it happens, right? You get to a point where things start to catch up with you. I never really took care of myself either when I was younger, so that was a big part of I think why I injured myself so many times throughout my career. But it is what it is. Because of the back injury, I've really found certain exercise routines that have actually brought me to a place where I feel in certain ways even healthier than I was before I started wrestling. And the first 3 years, I was kind of a mess. Like there was a lot that I was just kind of pushing through and not thinking about. So this time around, like for the first, I guess it's been a year since I come back, I'm really focused on doing the things that I know will elongate my career and really help me feel good when I'm in the ring because it sucks. Like wrestling is gonna feel shitty no matter what, no matter how much you're doing it. Like it's a wear and tear. It's a lot of pounding on your body. It sucks.
Yeah.
But the payoff is so amazing, and that's why we all continue to come back after every injury, after every show where we feel rough for the week afterwards. We keep pushing through and we keep coming back because it's like a drug. It really is. And there's no way of explaining it until you're in there and having a match. Like it is one of the craziest experiences you will ever feel. And that's why I'm trying to take care of myself as much as I can because I want to keep doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, these are sort of lessons that anybody who does anything physical with their body, it
That's true.
learns over time, right? Like again, when you're young, you think you're invincible.
Yep.
And then like for me, I mean, it's something like guitar playing, right?
Okay.
So if you don't if you don't have good form on your fretting hand, you can get a lot of like wrist problems,
Definitely.
like carpal tunnel, like all that kind of stuff, right? And but like again, when you're young, you don't think about that. You just think about I just want to look cool and play.
So true. So true.
Right? And then you pay for that later on when you have to be like retraining yourself to like
Yep.
taking care of certain areas of your body or whatever the case might be. So
Yep.
I can relate a lot to that. Actually, there's a lot of parallels between the way athletes train and the way musicians train.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
And
So
I actually am a musician myself, so
yeah.
I do have that,
You
that
know what I'm
correlation.
thinking about,
I
yeah.
totally understand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh, sweet. Okay, good. Now I have some questions
Okay.
about that later, so I'm very
Okay.
excited to get into that. But okay, so let's talk about, so what was your first post match or post injury match? Like what the first one, like do you remember who you came back and wrestled?
My first match after the big back injury.
Yeah.
Yes, I do remember. That was the craziest night of my life, honestly. It was so intense. The crowd was insane. Like I've never heard a sound like that. And it was like from the start of the night to the end.
Where was it?
It was at in James Bay at the White Eagle Polish Hall. Was that the show you were at?
You know what? It's so weird that you say that because you said it was about a year ago. I started coming to wrestling about a year ago.
Okay, so
it could very well be that show.
So this match, it was me. It was a 4-way match. Me versus Travis Williams versus Crofton and Maxwell Benson.
Yes, I think it was.
So-
Yes. Okay, that's so cool.
And yeah, like I said, it was the craziest night of my life for a lot of reasons. Like the nerves were insane. Like I was never a nervous person before, but ever since coming back to wrestling, especially that night, I do tend to get nervous before matches now. And so there's a lot of anxious energy. Like it's 4 years out of the ring was a long time. So coming back, there was a lot of stuff going on in my head, in my heart. So it was intense. And then also to add the fact that those 3 guys I love so much for 3 different reasons, and they kind of represent 3 eras of wrestling on Vancouver Island. And
Interesting.
for me, it was Travis. Travis was raised as a wrestler, was trained on the mainland in Vancouver, but it was the same time that we were all coming up on the island, and we were going over to the mainland quite often, so it felt like we were training together and coming up together. So that was kind of like the one guy in my era. And then Crofton was the one guy before me, where he was the guy that we all looked up to, or one of the guys. There was more than one, but like he was one of the guys that we all loved and we saw before our generation. So that was the now, the before, and then the future was Max. Max was a kid who I met. I didn't know him that well when I hurt myself. So I was gone for 4 years, and when I came back, it was like it was a different person, like completely different person. He had been training since he was 14 years old. The kid is like more driven than anyone I've ever seen in wrestling. And he looked different physically. He was like a foot taller, and he was just like so good in the ring. And I hadn't seen him train for 4 years, and I'd never seen him wrestle before. So to see him wrestle a couple times before I got in the ring with him, it was like eye-opening to see how good he was. And so for me to be in there with those 3 guys, it was big. It was huge. And then we put on an absolutely insane match. It was still one of the craziest matches, if not the craziest match of my career, which is crazy to say, considering I'd been gone for 4 years. Like, so for me, even to just be able to keep up with those 3 guys who are all incredible, like 3 of the best wrestlers I've ever been in the ring with. And so for me to keep up with them even was just an accomplishment. But to be able to do what we did that night was, it was amazing. It was really amazing.
That's awesome. I love stories like that. I always feel like they should make like a Hollywood, like a movie. It's like movie script stuff, right?
Yeah, behind the scenes. Yeah, it's true.
Come back from the injury, great how
rise from the ashes.
I love it. Just like an infinite legacy would,
So,
yeah. All right, guys, we need to take another quick little commercial break, but don't you guys go anywhere. We're going to have more with the Infinite Legacy.
But Shooter able to get his shoulders up at the very last second. Last millisecond.
Yeah, I mean, Legacy almost shocking the drive.
Why was Shooter just trying to take out the pole? Why would he do that?
The hardest part of the ring.
Yeah, even more harder than that airing apron. I mean, Legacy's up. over, and down goes Shooter.
I'm not used to it either. I'm like,
Shooter is down on.
Are you ready to rock? Are you ready to roll? Are you ready to rock? Are you ready to roll?
I am the Infinite Legacy!
And we are back. I'm Karen the Intern. This is Infinite Legacy, and you are watching Karen About Wrestling on the 365 Pro Wrestling YouTube channel. All right, so we've had 2 segments talking about some wrestling stuff. How do you feel about getting a little personal?
okay, that sounds good to me.
All right, I'm excited. So, in the last segment, we kind of dipped into the fact that you are a musician. So,
Yes.
I was specifically asked to ask you the question, are you in a band?
Okay. Well, I'm not in a band.
Oh, well,
So I don't know who asked you to ask me that. But I guess I have been in a band or two. Music was never really my focus.
okay.
Sports, again, comes back to
Okay,
sports,
yeah.
was my focus. But when I was younger, my parents, God bless my parents, honestly, they're like the most important people in my life because they have just allowed me to just do whatever I want. They've never discouraged me from liking anything or having different interests or pursuing any crazy pursuits like wrestling. So when I was younger, they heard me singing in the car all the time to every song, and they're like, "Do you want to go into singing lessons?" So I'm like, oh, "Okay, sure." So I actually started classically training in vocals when I was 8 years old. So I did that for like 9 months or so, but I quit because I don't really like practice all that much. So that's
okay.
all really it was practicing, and like
Yeah.
even sports, I'm like not a practice guy. It's like, let's go play a
I
game.
just want to do it.
Yeah, so like I liked performing, and I did performances, a couple for performances while I was training vocally, but that's the stuff I liked, and it took too long to get there. So I was like, I can just sing on my own time.
Right? In your car,
yeah.
at karaoke.
Yeah.
Do you have like a
exactly.
go-to karaoke song? Do you ever go to karaoke?
I have gone to karaoke. I don't really have a go-to. I like to mix it up. So
for
yeah. Oh, I'm gonna apologize.
is that your go-to karaoke song?
Oh, terrible. Terrible. I'm gonna turn this off.
That's the first time this has ever happened.
No way. Oh my
It's the
god.
first time. That's okay. It's all right.
Embarrassing. All right. I don't even know where I was now. Yes, okay, the bands. Karaoke songs again. Yeah, I don't really have a go-to. I like Lean on Me.
Love it.
Yeah, that's a
Love
good
it.
one. I like Drops of Jupiter.
Yes.
That's a fun
great
karaoke song.
Yeah.
And it kind of has meaning for one of my friends as well. I'm not going to get into that, but that's
Okay.
fine. Are you in a band? I have been in various vocal groups throughout my
Okay.
life. So like me and my brother did a thing with a producer when we were young. He played guitar and I did the singing, and he had a couple other random, like a bass player and a drummer, and we did a concert once like that. I've also been in like choir groups and stuff like that. So I've performed throughout my younger life. I stopped doing that when I was about 15, but I did have a few choir groups. I think other than band would be the better term. Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. So you play guitar, you mentioned though.
No, my brother plays guitar.
Oh, okay.
I don't have very good finger dexterity,
Okay.
so I never really got into any instruments other than drums.
Okay, I like that.
So I'm a singer and I can play drums. I don't call myself a drummer, but I
You
can.
don't meet a lot of people who are like, I'm a singer.
That's true. Yeah, I guess so. Unless you're like, yeah.
I too am a singer.
Okay, amazing.
I think we should have, if I was smart, I would have done my research a little better and found out that you were a singer, and then I would have had a whole thing set up here for us to sing a song together.
Okay, that would have been interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
But maybe,
Next time.
maybe if we go to karaoke together,
Yeah.
we can make it happen.
Yeah, I agree. That would
And
be
I
fun.
think you guys would really like that. And I know I'd really like that. Okay, all right. Moving on. So besides singing and wrestling and sports, is there anything else you like to do with your time?
I like to play video games. Not as much anymore, just because I don't have as much time. I'm like into movies. I kind of have an obsessive personality, so
Okay.
I've like picked up a lot of interests and hobbies throughout my life.
I like that.
So like TV and movies, music, not just playing and singing. Like I listen to a lot of different music, different genres. I guess those would be the main things, but I do like dabble in a lot of areas of those things. Entertainment usually. I
Yeah.
really like entertainment.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
And it's fun to perform, right?
It's great. It's one of the best things I've ever done. Like it's no matter what type of performance, that's always where I kind of feel most comfortable.
Totally.
Like I'm actually not very comfortable socially and like in groups of people, but if I'm on stage and there's a bunch of people looking at me, for some reason that's where I feel most comfortable.
I always say I'm an introvert, an outgoing
Me too.
introvert.
Yeah. Okay.
And so I always say like it's easier to be in front of a crowd than in one.
Yeah, totally. Me too. I completely understand
You
that.
can like you're feeling me there?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes. So okay, so what's your favorite type of plant?
Oh my.
I heard you're a plant guy.
Okay, I don't know where you're getting your information from. So I've worked at a nursery for like 16 years. I'm not a plant guy. I am not a plant guy at all. I barely know half the stuff we grow at the nursery, and I've been there for over a decade and a half. Most of the stuff I only know because I've read it on a piece of paper thousands of times. So,
Hilarious. So you don't.
if I were to pick a plant, though, it would be like an herb or something because I like the taste. Like I don't know. I'm into rosemary a lot recently, so let's go with rosemary.
Okay.
I like the smell. I like the taste.
What's not to like about
Yeah.
rosemary? I was sort of thinking you were more of a succulent guy, but like
Yeah,
you
sure.
can't really eat those.
No,
so
no.
they're not as useful.
Yeah,
they
they're
just
not-
sort of sit there.
If you can't really eat it, it's not that interesting to me.
No, I have a succulent. Its name is Keith.
Oh, you named it.
Yeah, I did because I don't have any other animals.
Any
or
other
anything.
pets? Okay,
No,
so that's your
it.
pet. Your pet succulent.
It gets all my love.
Why
you know.
Keith?
I had a fish named Keith and it died, so I thought I should name the plant Keith.
The reincarnation of the fish.
It is.
Perfect.
I really feel that. So speaking of that, do you believe in ghosts?
Sure. Yeah.
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 Have you had any like paranormal experiences?
Not really.
No.
I've always wanted to. I like walk into graveyards at night trying to find.
You're like
Yeah. Yeah, I'm that guy. But like never has it like fully happened. Like I get a lot of like out of the corner of my eye things.
Okay.
But like that could be explained in a lot of ways, right? Like, and I think a lot of people that happens, but in my heart, I feel like sometimes there are things happening that I catch
Yes.
for a second and then I miss. But other than that, I can't say I've had any like big experiences. The one experience I guess I would say I had one instance of sleep paralysis. Do you know what that is?
I do know.
Okay.
what it is, yeah.
So it's kind of like a waking dream.
Yeah.
Where like I woke up in my bed, I was in my room, but it wasn't exactly right. Like things were a little bit off, but I could not move. 100% frozen. And my door was open and there was a light emanating from the hallway into my room, but it felt like that light was like evil light. It was like yeah. So I was frozen there and like it felt like petrifying
Yeah.
fear, like of this whatever it was outside of my room, and it was just like that until I actually woke up. And that I guess would be some kind of instance of paranormal activity or something like that,
Or
supernatural.
alien abduction.
Yeah. That could. I've listened to a lot of podcasts about these things, and it's a very good possibility that it's something like that, or it was just. Sorry.
Yeah. It could have been a dream. It definitely could have been a dream.
But yeah, I do believe in that kind of stuff.
That's cool. Would you ever go on like a paranormal investigation? Like if somebody said, "Hey,
Yeah.
come along to this like haunted place, and we'll like have these little meters, and we'll talk to the ghosts, and we'll see if we can." Would you be into doing something like that?
I think that would be something that would interest me. Yeah.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too. Me too, for sure.
I've never
And
really thought about it before, but
there's a lot of haunted places in Victoria, apparently.
it
so
is a notoriously haunted place.
yeah,
yes.
yeah, and for a variety of reasons. There's a ghostly walk here in Victoria.
Yep.
You can get a tour of downtown, so they'll give you some history, and they'll tell you about our friendly, well, and sometimes not so friendly ghosts in the area. Yeah. So yeah, it would be very cool to do a paranormal investigation for sure.
Yeah.
So okay. So the most important question, the one everyone always wants to know the answer to. What's your favorite dinosaur and why?
Oh man, I guess I don't think about this. I'm not like a Jurassic Park guy, so I don't know.
So dinosaurs wasn't one of your many, like,
Not really.
interests
No,
that
I was
you
never
were
like a
into?
dinosaur kid. I was like, I had like a superhero phase. I had a lot of phases and never really dinosaurs.
No.
No. I'm just gonna go with the pterodactyl
Yeah.
because it sounds cool.
Yeah.
It's spelt weird and it can fly.
It can fly. The P, the T.
Yeah,
PT. Yeah.
I think so. Something
Yeah.
like that.
It's I'm down with all of that.
Cool.
Yeah.
That works for me.
And as we have talked about before, birds
Yep.
are
The ancestors.
ancestors of.
Yeah, I could go with maybe like a crocodile or an alligator too, because they're kind of just a dinosaur that lasted
Yeah. Or
the
like you've
extinction,
seen
which
these
is
like
badass, right?
right? And those little lizards that you see all
Oh, yeah.
around here, the rock lizards.
Yep,
Just-
they're everywhere at the greenhouses. It's insane.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
I love them. I know they're invasive or whatever, but I just think they're cute.
It
little
is what it
guys.
is.
Yeah.
They're
love
just
those
trying to
guys.
live their life.
Exactly, exactly. And they're cute and they're harmless. They don't really like.
Nah, they're not gonna hurt you.
No, and they probably eat some insects, which is probably a good thing too, right?
Yeah, I would say.
So okay, so you weren't in a band. So I was gonna do a whole thing about that.
Oh,
But but how about I get into the B-side questions here?
sure.
If you could be any Disney character, who would you be?
Oh man.
I know,
Again,
right?
you're asking me all these questions I never think about.
These are like the deep psychological questions. I'm actually going to
true.
evaluate your answer and then decide whether or not you're.
I don't even know what counts as a Disney character anymore.
I know the line's a little blurred. I mean, you could go old school and
Okay.
just pick one of like the
Okay.
original old school ones.
Oh my god. Do you have like a couple pointers? Like a couple.
Somebody said they would be the genie. Somebody said that they would be.
Disney.
Actually, that's the only time I've asked
Okay,
questions.
I'm gonna go way out of left field here.
Okay, I love this.
I loved this movie when I was a kid. Fantasia. I would be. There's like a grand wizard of some sort, right?
Yes.
Yes, that's who I would be.
Yes.
Because that movie was. First of all, that is not a children's movie. That is insane.
No,
To watch
no,
that
no,
as an
no,
adult,
no.
that is a trip, man. But
Yeah. Sometimes you are tripping when
yeah,
you watch that movie.
yeah. So that always like was a lasting memory as a kid in my mind, was like how crazy that movie was. So I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna be the grand wizard who was like orchestrating all this insanity.
I think that is probably one of the most interesting answers I would ever have expected, because never in a million years would I expect somebody to pull out Fantasia.
Perfect. That's
Actually
great.
listen to the Fantasia soundtrack.
Oh, really?
On a regular basis.
Oh,
It's
that's actually something that would interest me quite a bit. I
Yes,
should do that. You can probably
it's-
just find that on Spotify or whatever,
It's
right?
on
Cool.
iTunes or whatever.
I'm
yeah.
gonna do that tomorrow, maybe.
Apple Music. Yeah, do it. Do it. It's so good. I listen to it while I'm working. It's very relaxing.
Sweet, yeah.
And you'll hear your song at the end, which is, I think, the one where Mickey
Okay.
is at the end and all the brooms
Yep.
are breaking apart and the Grand Wizard's at the end of that, right?
Awesome.
He's that guy. He's
Awesome.
that guy. All right, how many push-ups can you do? Like in a day?
Like in a row,
You know?
like without stopping.
Yeah, sure.
It's not a lot because of
Okay.
the back injury.
Oh, right.
So like I could get to 25.
What if you do like the girly push-ups?
A lot.
Then anybody could do a million that way.
Yeah, but I'm gonna say right off the bat, there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
If you're just doing push-ups on your knees, that's fine.
Yeah, I think
If that's
it's
all you
okay.
can do, you can still build muscle through that.
Absolutely.
Go slow and yeah. That's not girl push-ups.
Yeah.
I don't call it girl push-ups.
I thank you for that. I don't know why I did that. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
I appreciate
You're welcome.
that. You're the feminist in the room, apparently, and I love that for you.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
All right, so are you ready to get into a little lightning round action?
Sure. Okay.
If you can believe it,
Gonna be
Infinite
terrible at this,
Legacy.
but-
This interview is not infinite. It's gonna come to an end
Oh,
pretty soon.
okay.
Here. I'm very sad about that.
Okay.
Because I feel like we're just getting started.
Yeah, we had a lot more to go, but I mean,
It's okay.
it is
Maybe
what it
you'll
is,
just
right?
get a chance to come back again, right?
There's
And we'll do a
infinite
part two.
possibilities.
Yes, I love that. I love that. Love it. Okay, let's do the lightning round.
Okay.
So just right off the top of your head.
'Kay.
Ready to go?
Yes.
All right. Star Wars or Star Trek?
Neither.
Ooh, damn! Right out of the gate, stops me dead in my tracks. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
No.
Frozen yogurt or ice cream?
Ice cream.
Potato salad or coleslaw?
Potato salad?
Does your mom have a great potato salad recipe?
No.
No? Okay,
No
all right.
potato salad recipe.
Also stopped me in my tracks. Favorite candy?
Oh, I'm not really a candy guy. Chocolate of some sort.
Okay, good. Macho Man, Hulk, or Macho Man, Hulk, or Ultimate Warrior? Sorry.
Macho Man.
Macho Man,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Your favorite band?
I'm gonna go with Devil Driver.
Devil Driver?
Yes, heavy metal.
Ooh, I like it. Speaking of heavy metal, sorry, just got to take a little. Your intro music, is that original?
Yes, yeah, it is. There's a guy who actually makes intro music for wrestlers. Who I got to make me an intro music or an intro song like 5 or 6 years ago. I think his name is Mikey Ruckus. You can look him up.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's.
Yeah, it's a cool song.
killer.
I like
Oh,
it.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
he did a
amazing.
really good job. He kind of fits my character. Anyway,
It
lightning
really
round.
does. Yeah, back to it. Yeah,
Back to
sorry.
the lightning.
Favorite scary movie?
Oh, The Witch.
Oh, yes, that's a good one.
So good.
Best place to get a hamburger on Vancouver Island?
I'm not a hamburger guy. I like Ben For's burgers. Ben For.
I could go for that some. Team Freddy Krueger or Team Jason Voorhees?
I like Freddy Krueger, I guess. Yeah.
King Kong or Godzilla?
Godzilla.
What's your favorite YouTube channel besides 365 Pro Wrestling?
Besides 365 Pro Wrestling, I watch a lot of skateboarding, and there's like a street league, it's SLS Street League.
Cool, skateboarding. Just
Yeah.
another one of your little interests
Random
there, I guess.
things,
Yeah,
yes.
love that. Pizza, burgers, or tacos? I know you don't like burgers, so pizza or tacos?
Don't really eat any of those. Let's go with tacos.
Tacos, all right. First car you ever owned?
It was a Ford Bronco, I think. Yeah.
Damn, like
It was not
not
nice.
a white Ford Bronco.
It was white. It was a piece of, not so nice. But it's fine. I'm not a car guy. I don't care. So it drove me from place to place.
Mine was a K car, so
Okay,
I'm
I don't
with
even
you,
know what
like-
that is.
All right. Well, first concert?
Amanda Marshall and Shaviel Kraviachuk.
Chantel Kraviazuk.
Chantel Kraviachuk, yes.
Yeah.
Opened for her.
I love both of those.
Mhm.
That's awesome. And what was your favorite part of this interview?
It was all fun.
Yeah, wasn't
it was
it?
really I can't pick a favorite part. It was all very different. Each little section I got to share a little bit more than I'm used to about myself. So yeah, it was fun. I like the lightning round. Lightning round's fun.
Awesome. If folks want to find you on the interwebs, where can they do that?
Look on,
Just
Instagram
type in
and
Infinite Legacy.
Yeah, honestly, I don't use that stuff very often, so I forget sometimes. But it's in the Infinite Legacy, I think on Instagram. That's usually where I am.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I had such a good time
Thank
tonight.
you.
I hope you did too.
I did.
Awesome. All right, you guys. Well, that wraps up another episode of Karen About Wrestling. Make sure you tune in next time. See you later.
See ya.
Bye.
Thanks, Karen.
Thanks, Infinite Legacy.
When do we stop?
I don't know. We just keep going.